Yo, everybody! It's me, Travis. I'm back with another JTI matchup. This time we have, in the purple, as Zerg, Chad, coming off a defeat, or coming off a victory from Josh House. An amazing game that those two individuals played. And Jake is facing off against the guy whose name is in the JTI, the Jake and Travis Invitationals, Jake Googe, a man that is beyond his years, the guy that is supposed to win the entire tournament, the legend himself, the macro master, Jake Googe, who just came off a win against Ben Terry, a phenomenal game that was extremely close, and in my opinion, probably one of the best games you will see in the JTI is game number 1, Jake versus Ben, an amazing game. Jake came off that with a high that he's never felt before. Jake, in the interview after that game, said that Ben was such a good opponent that he felt that Ben was actually the better player. And that's a lot coming from Jake. He was like, you know what? I realized after the game had won, I got lucky, and that Ben had actually won, which is good for Jake to say. But Jake is tricky. He is an old school veteran. Ben's kind of the new school. You know, he hasn't played 1,000 games. He hasn't played 100 games like Jake has played. He's only played a few, Ben has, you know. So Jake is tricky. He's got some of those old tactics like Boxer Slayer versus Flash. Boxer still took some games off of Flash, and I think Boxer might have even won. What is Jake? This is what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Jake is just the trickiest guy on the planet, man. You think he's out. You think he's retired. You think he's an old dog that you're going to take in the back and shoot him with a shotgun? Hell no. What Jake has is a little pistol in his pocket. And you're like, okay, take me out to pasture, baby. And then you're going to be loading your shotgun saying, I'm sorry, boy. I'm sorry I got to do this. And Jake just takes out his pistol and goes, I'm sorry myself. I have a loaded pistol. And you're still loading that shotgun. Shoots you in the face. That's called tricky. Walks out in the forest as a free dog. That's exactly what Jake's doing. And I don't think Chad knows that this is going on up here. These buildings have a range of about right here. Let's take a look. Let's see what Chad sees. Chad sees this. Nothing. Chad doesn't see anything that's going up here. Jake has finished his barracks up in the top left. What does Jake have in his base? He's walling off with another barracks. But Jake, it's a good wall off. I mean, Zerglings can fit in here, but you know, it's a good freaking solid wall off. Look at what Jake's doing. He is being so tricky, producing his first Marine coming over here. Chad's coming out for the scout, seeing where Jake is, seeing what's going on. And when Chad scouts this, he's not going to see anything in nothing too crazy, you know? Nothing out of the ordinary. Barracks, supply depots, that's nothing too crazy. He's like, oh, he's got a standard build, especially since Chad is scouting in the wrong direction. You got to remember that Chad hasn't played this game in a really long time. I think it's been about 10 years, maybe 8 or 10 years since Chad's actually played the game. So build orders, you know, Chad doesn't necessarily know what to exactly look for when it comes to build orders. Jake's going for another barracks, triple barracks, one barracks into the main base. And, you know, Chad's going to surround this, and he's got a little victory. He thinks he's doing good right now, but what he doesn't know is the main SCV is in the base building a bunker in Chad's base. Is it necessary? I don't know if it's necessary. I mean, there's no Zerglings out on the field. There are 3 Zerglings coming up right here, and 6 Zerglings are going to pop for Chad, and this bunker is going to finish. These Marines are going to have a safety place to go into, and all those Zerglings are going to die. And is Jake in line with this hatchery is the real question. Can these Marines hit this hatchery? I know the sunken colony will be able to protect the hatchery, I believe, if the Marines are able to get out. The question is Jake close enough? You see, the sunken's going to hit these guys. I knew it. 1 Marine down. It only takes 2 shots from a second colony to kill a Marine. Then another Marine down. Are 2 Marines enough to defeat Chad? A 3rd Marine pops out of these barracks. There's some Marines over here being produced, and maybe they should accompany their people here. But I think Jake has done economical damage. Chad is stuck at 280 minerals, and I don't believe he has any workers. I think he might have one worker up here at the top, but that's not enough. Actually, he does have some workers over here, but they can't get in here and mine with these Marines here. I mean, you could build a few more Zerglings, especially if he has 280 minerals, but I don't know if Chad knows what to do at this point. These Marines have enough range to outrange the sunken colony. I think Chad's just completely dumbfounded on what to exactly do against this rush from Jake. It has been a phenomenal rush and an insane rush by the Gosu Master himself, the macro god, Jake Googe, the dude that has the name of the title. Chad defeated House with trickery, having a second hatchery. But I think Chad's going to go down right here, especially if this hatchery goes down from these Marines. There it goes. Hatchery down. Is Chad going to GG? He does have a few larvae, but he doesn't have a lot that he can exactly build. I think Chad might stay in the game for as long as possible. But there's not a lot that he can do, especially with more Marines flooding in here. Chad's coming in here and seeing like, hey, what's my options here? What can I do? I mean, I have 2 larvae to my name, a few drones, and I have more Marines flooding into my drone line. Well, what am I up against? Do I even have a chance? Can my second colony kind of uproot and go attack the Terran army? Is that what's going to happen right now? I have an evolution chamber. I don't think so, Chad. I don't know if it's going to work out. I guess you can kill a few Terran Marines, and maybe Jake can run his SCVs into the sunken colony, but other than that, I'm not sure if you have a fighting chance in this game. You have enough to produce some more drones, but you don't have enough to build another hatchery is the problem. So eventually when this creep runs out right here, which I don't think it ever will until the sunken colony exactly dies, which I think is about to, a lot of these Marines... Jake and Chad. I think Jake is saying that this is Jake and Chad playing the game because this is actually Alex Proza, and I believe this is Josh House's account. And he's saying that this is Jake and Chad playing this game. So thank you, Jake, for mentioning that. And I think that's going to be GG for Chad. GG from Jake. There's nothing more that Chad can do. He's going to be moved to loser's bracket. And like I said, Jake is a phenomenal player. Chad doesn't need to be disappointed in the least for losing this game because Jake is a phenomenal StarCraft player. Probably one of the best in the group right now in the JTI, the Jake and Travis Invitationals. So Chad's going to go to the loser's bracket, but I think Chad has one of the best shots to actually get some of the top seeds. He could get 3rd, 2nd, or 1st. I mean, if Chad plays his cards right, he could get 1st. So he's not out of it yet. He's going to go to loser's bracket. He's going to be able to work his way back up to the top and face off against someone else. So an amazing game from Jake. Stay tuned, guys, because this was just game 1 of the winner's bracket. We got game 2 of the winner's bracket, I believe, against Shane and... dang, who is the other person that won? Shane and Alex Proza, I believe, are going head-to-head against each other. I think. Maybe. I'll have to look into it. But stay tuned, guys. It's going to be hot.